Today on Adjusting, we are talking about adjusting your voice. We're in this season full of life, of love, of laugh, and embracing that you are enough, that you know enough, that you have lived through enough to walk into any room with confidence, with grace, with purpose and intention. So today we are addressing where shrinking of the voice comes from. We are learning ways to adjust and know the difference between fear and intuition. We are going to stop second guessing and asking 50 million people for something we already know is true. And then we're going to address, adjust, and find ways, 6 ways, to confidently use our voice for good in any space we walk in because we are enough as we are. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. And we're back with another episode of Adjusting Podcast with your host, Justin G. Nelson. And today is our season finale. I know we have made it through 24 episodes, 24 weeks of adjusting to cognitive distortions, adjusting to what if it actually works out. And now we focus on adjusting your center. Thank you to TJ with TJ podcast for doing the editing this season. I hope you stick around for season 4. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed, who has shared, who has supported, who has given feedback. I really and truly appreciate it. Hopefully next season, we'll have some sponsors so that we can continue to grow and find more ways to reach a larger audience. So if you are driving, focus on the road. That's important. But if you are in a space where you can ground yourself for this episode, I invite you to do so now. We're going to ground our feet and we're going to do our 4-7-8 breathing. We're going to do 2 this episode since it's the final episode. So, ground your feet, relax your ankles, relax your shins, relax your knees, relax your thighs, relax your hips, relax your stomach, relax your chest, relax your shoulders, roll them back, relax your neck, relax your chin, your cheeks, your forehead, close your eyes, and we'll breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and release for 8. Begin. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let it all out. All right, just check back in, shake it out. We're going to do one more 4-7-8 breathing. When you're ready, let's begin. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. All right. So we are ending part 3, adjusting your center, with the topic of adjusting your voice. Finally trusting the loudest voice in the room. Now, I got this inspiration from a lot of places, and it was confirmed with watching Keke Palmer's interview with Oprah. And when I talk about being the loudest voice or adjusting your voice, yes, I'm talking about like what comes out and like the volume at which it comes out, but not always what you hear, but how it resonates when it lands, you know? Like there are different songs that have a loud volume. It could be cranked up to 100, but the frequency behind it is still soft. And so I wanted to end with that because as you adjust your center, you've worked on everything, who gets access, disappointing others. But it's that throat chakra, that chakra here, that really controls the outcome. You know, like what you're putting out, all of this healing you've done, all this work you've put in. How are you going to show up now that you've adjusted your center? And that's through your voice. So we start with addressing. Let's define what it means to be your own voice. Now, I'm not talking about your opinions, your presence, the version of you that shows up in a loud argument. I'm talking about that quiet, still part of you that shows up before the noise even does. You know how they say your reputation precedes you? That's a part of your voice. It's your image, your brand. You know, I do brand management and consultation, but how you show up before you're even in the room, that means a lot. And it's like that gut feeling, the hesitation you talk yourself out of, the answer you already had before you asked seven people what they thought. That's that internal voice that's happening. So we have to learn how to shut that off so that healed voice can speak through the noise. And I'm also talking about something bigger than intuition alone. Your voice is your gifting. It's your leadership, it's your purpose, it's your positioning. You know, a lot of times pastors preach about being in position, and it's not always having your ducks in a row. It's being prepared to speak up or speak out or shake the table if you need to because of the work you've done, because your voice has that much power. It's a specific perspective that only exists because of the specific life you've lived. Your lived experience is your voice. When I say trust your own voice, I don't mean you. I don't just mean your instincts. I mean the whole of what you carry in the room, the insight, the skill, the way you see things that nobody else in that room quite sees it. And I talked to my mom about this, about how that's the joy of being a human. You know, everyone has their own lived experiences, but we all can get to an outcome a different way. But the beauty of it, your voice, everyone's voice together, is just like with a choir. You know, you have four parts: soprano, alto, tenor, bass. And if you're fancy, you can get eight parts. You know, soprano 1, 2, 3, alto 1 and 2, tenor 1 and 2, baritone, bass. 12 parts if you want, but we gonna get there today. It's not a choir rehearsal, but the beauty of when those voices come together, my God, we get a beautiful arrangement. We get a beautiful song, and that song tells a story. And that is what I want to emphasize with your voice. Okay. Like I was saying, like it's what you carry into the room, the insight, the skill, the way you see things nobody else sees it. Most of us have that voice. It's just been buried under so many louder ones for so long that we've forgotten what it even sounds like. Your insecurities, your shame, your guilt, your doubt, imposter syndrome, all of that has lowered your voice. It gets raspy. You're just like, I'm okay. No, I just need some water. No, you need water to nourish. I'm preaching today. This is getting. We've mistaken silence for absence when really it's just been in the waiting room. Okay, we've left our voice in the other room, and we're just like, well, I'm just gonna listen. I'm just gonna be here. But then you get in the other room and you're crying, you're screaming. You're like, they don't respect me. They don't trust me. They don't believe me. I can't lead because you left your voice. You left your voice. You left your identity. You left the very thing that makes you unique in the other room. You've shrunk your voice. You went from a 10 to a 1. Okay? So we're going to crank it back up by the end of this episode. And here's the tale. If you can make a decision easily when you're alone, but the second you tell someone else, you start second guessing it, that's not being indecisive. That's you handing your own voice to someone else to control. Now what? So this is where the loudest voice in the room comes in. And I want to really sit with this. Think about every room you've ever walked in when you shrunk your own voice down to nothing because someone else spoke first, spoke louder, spoke with more confidence than you felt. Over time, you learn a rule without even saying it out loud. The loudest one in the room wins. That is what you have conditioned your mind to think. Okay? And we think about people that use like the big words, and it's like, well, I've traveled here and I've ate this and I've done. A lot of those people have a loud voice, but low confidence. Okay, yeah, but here's the thing: being loud was never the same as being right. Yeah, somewhere along the way, we confuse volume with authority. And I don't like that. And you started to treat your own quiet certainty like it didn't count for anything simply because it wasn't shouting. Discernment, we talked about that. Discernment isn't about being the loudest voice in the room either. It's about being the truest one. And most of us never learned the difference because we were taught that trusting ourselves over other people, especially louder or older people, or more confident people, was arrogant or reckless or just plain wrong. And I want to say this because I think we all need to hear it. Loud doesn't always mean powerful, and soft doesn't mean weak. Some of the most powerful things you'll ever say will be quiet because you need to reset. Your quietness resets the space for true communication, for true healing, for true discernment and unraveling to take place. You have to. It's in the Bible. Like there was a still, quiet voice. Nothing was loud. It was still and it was quiet. And that is the power of the voice. Sometimes when things are happening, it doesn't happen loud. It happens quietly. Like when a teapot is boiling, it starts off at a slow hum, but the heat is working. Okay, and it's starting to boil up, and then it gets loud. But it has to start from a quiet place. Okay, and some of the loudest people in the room are compensating. I love that word. They're compensating for a certainty they don't actually have. Volume was never the proof of truth. Your steadiness, even at a whisper, even at a whisper, clarifies and carries its own weight. So where to adjust? Where do you need to adjust? It's not code switching. We're just adjusting the volumes. Same impact, okay? Same impact, just a lower volume. Where this distrust of your own voice actually comes from, you already know. Childhood trauma, childhood dismissal. Gaslighting is a big component of lowering your voice because it makes you fluctuate your confidence because you're like, well, no, I'm right. I'm right, right? No. And then the questioning of it all turns the volume down. Whether it came from a parent, partner, or friend, having your version of events questioned so many times that you started doubting your own memory before you doubted theirs. Another big thing, cultural and gender conditioning. A lot of people feel that because someone went to a certain school, people love to throw their degrees around. They love to you can throw every degree around you want. I went in the classroom with you, so I don't know how you got the degree. You probably bought that degree. I don't know if you even went to class, but we equate status and degrees and wealth to this certain heightened volume. No, that ain't it. Number 4, systems that only recognize credentials. Again, school, work, and plenty of professional degrees. Number 5, a specific moment sometimes for a lot of us, it's not even an event, it's a single memory. It's a single gut memory that it wrecked your nervous system so bad to the point where you just get quiet all over again. That's sometimes trauma. Sorry, my allergies. That's sometimes trauma trying to take you back to a place that you haven't really healed from, and you just instantly freeze. You go on mute. And a lot of people operate in a state of mute, a muted place, because they haven't found the words they haven't found the words or the way to express how they truly feel, because we have bastardized the term safe space. Everything now has become a safe space. And I don't think it's really safe. I think we've manipulated people into thinking they can share what they want to share in a quote unquote safe space to then turn it into content. The religious layer. A lot of us were taught directly or indirectly that the heart can't be trusted, that our own instincts are inherently flawed or sinful, and that the safest thing to do is defer always to someone else's authority. And I call that spiritual bypassing. Number 7, people pleasing, plain and simple. And number 8, the hustle culture. It always goes back to that because even, I think I said this last week, but even when people are out here grinding and it's like, yeah, you gotta work, you gotta do this, you gotta be up, you sleep when you're dead, you need to be posting this time and you need to get this, I'm going to this conference, you're not doing this, and this. And I'm just like, I don't want to. I'm good. Because some of y'all are frauds. Okay. You got all this rah, rah, rah. You got all these big voices, big noise. Those people that always want to be the first to post and the first to share. Why? Like those people can't be trusted. Who is your source? Consider the source. Yeah. When the volume is loud, consider the source. Republicans. All right. So how does this actually show up day to day? Let's be honest. Like we deal with this at church, at work, in a creative space, at home. How does it show up? The first telltale sign that you be doing this, you're shrinking your voice. You ask 5 different people the same question, expecting that one person to give you a negative spin on it or a negative response so that you can use that as a means to shut down. You lack the confidence. Number 2, you over research every decision. You're checking Google, you're checking Yahoo, you're checking TikTok, you're checking YouTube, everything. You don't go to like scholarly journals, because God forbid you find one person that has done the research. No, you over research everything because again, you lack the confidence to take the second step. The first step was researching. You've done that over and over again. The second step is where the work really happens, okay? Where the hypothesis is tested in the field. You don't want to do the work. You rather say, I'm working on it, but not actually trying to solve for why. Number 3, you're talking yourself out of a gut feeling about a person or a situation. Now, I do that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I will overanalyze a person or a situation because I really don't want to do it. Yeah, or I need to find the why. And like, why do I want to deal with this person? And why this person is worth me taking myself to a 10. Sometimes you just got to sit with it. And number 4, staying quiet in rooms where you actually had the clearest read on what was happening because someone louder or more confident got there first. Now, I will admit, I will be quiet in rooms because I'm a Cancer and I am very observant because I like to calculate my next step. Because that loud person will slip up in that one moment and it's like, gotcha. And then you go in, like my Cancer claws come out. It's like, well, actually, you're wrong. It's just like that guy on CNN. He's going viral right now. Clarence, somebody. And he be fact checking people live on the air. He was just like, well, actually, boo, I think you're wrong. You're actually a lie. I was just like, I like this man. Give him his own show. They're going to cancel it because he's black. But, neither here nor there. Now, this is what adjusting your voice and keeping it low has cost you over time. Decision fatigue. Okay, while you over researching, over analyzing, polling the audience every other day, too many ideas gives you decision fatigue, and now you're confused as to why was I asking this? What am I actually trying to do? Like, what was my why again? Only you know that. Okay, and then you become a stranger to yourself because you've asked for so many opinions that you're just like, well, what am I doing? Like, why did I? Whose idea was this? Was this my idea? Because their idea sounds better than mine. You lose yourself, okay? And then the third thing, resentment that creeps up quietly toward people who didn't even ask you to defer to them, because somewhere along the way you started doing it automatically. You started comparing yourself to other people and then got mad because they were actually doing the very thing they told you to do because you asked them what they be doing. And now I can't stand them. You can't stand them because they're consistent? Oh, mirror. You can't be like that. That's wrong. I don't like it. So we're going to fix that. Okay? We're going to fix that. And the last thing, the exhausting sense of always arriving late to your own conclusions. I know it takes time. I know it's a lot of unraveling and discernment that has to kick in, the work we're doing, but it takes some of us a long time to get to that because we love to operate in a whoa, it's me place of thinking. Snap out of it. Okay, get your voice back. Go in your room right now. Go in your room. Pause this. Go in your room. Get your voice back because we're moving on to part 2. So owning the power. We're adjusting. We are owning the power of what you actually bring into a room. Okay. Here's the thing. You didn't get to where you are by accident. Every room you walk into, okay, you're carrying a whole journey of you. I love my whole pyramid, the past, present, and future you all walk into the room, okay? The things you've survived, the things you've built, the things you've learned along the way, that journey is not just backstory, it's credibility. It's your lived experience. It is evidence that you know what the hell you're talking about. Okay? It's earned. So stop treating it like it doesn't count and like it's small. Every single thing you've ingested belongs to your identity, and it creates a more impressive presentation when you walk into a room. Confidence is your gifting. Confidence is your gifting, and the way you present it isn't arrogance, it's accuracy. Okay, if you're good at something, you're good at it and you lead it well. You just like, oh no, I know what I'm talking about. Not just from a degree, but because I have lived this. Okay. I've done the work in class and out of class. You right? And if you see solutions other people miss, saying that plainly to yourself isn't bragging. It's just telling the truth. Like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. But we're going to fix this together because I'm a team player. I'm not trying to get the credit. I'm trying to get the outcome. Boy, that was good. Thank you. Most of us were taught to downplay our gifts so we wouldn't seem full of ourselves. You weren't arrogant, And somewhere in that downplaying, we actually started to believe and adjust to the smaller version of ourselves. We're adjusting our center. We're stretching the center. We are increasing and expanding our voice. Your leadership doesn't require permission either. You don't need a badge. You don't need the title. You just need to be it, okay? You don't need a title, invitation, or someone else's approval to lead from where you're standing. Leadership, at its core, is just having a clear voice and being willing to use it. And you already have both, even if you've been practicing in silence. We ended this season on a bang, okay? Think about every room you've shrunk in, whether in this audition room, whether it's in your own room creating content, whether it's in church, at a job, wherever, a date, a relationship, you shrunk to, I'm reading this book now for book club, and historical fiction is fascinating, let me tell you. And it amazes me the number of women in their journey, because the outcome was great. But in their journey, they shrunk themselves. A lot of slaves had to shrink themselves for survival. They had to lower their voice to stay alive, okay? Oh, but when them hymns started and we started to travel and we found our voice and found our confidence, everything went up. But with the women, okay, they went through hell, high and low water. But the outcome, not even in their story, but generations later, have been so beautiful. So I'm going to pause here and say thank you, Black women. This is allergies, not a tear. Thank you, Black women. Thank you to the ancestors. Thank you to my grandmama. Thank you, everybody, all the black women, for everything you have done to help keep the black voice alive. Okay. But anyway, you the pattern, we're trying to interrupt the pattern of shrinking yourselves to fit into a space. Go into the space, hold. Go in with your center full and stretched. Okay, you deserve to be in every room you're meant to be in. And if you're not supposed to be in that room and you feel to shrink, walk out. You feel like you're shrinking, walk out, because that room is not going to help you grow. Okay, so how to tell your intuition apart. How to tell your intuition apart from fear. Fear is loud, urgent, and usually pulling you toward what's familiar, even when the familiar isn't good for you. Intuition is quiet, okay? Again, it's that voice. Intuition is quiet, steady, and it doesn't need to convince you with a whole argument. All right? So notice when you already know, but go looking for permission anyway. This is about getting your confidence back. You don't need approval from everyone. If you have a core group of people, maybe 3 people that really know you and can give you honest feedback to say, this doesn't seem like something you're doing, or something true to who you are, true to your core, true to your brand, to the person I know. That's the people you need to listen to, not the people who's going to approve everything around you. Say, oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, you doing. No, you're not. They're just tired. They're not tired. They're not tired. They just don't want to be bothered. Because every other week you come with a new idea. Now that one real friend is gonna say, okay, this is like the 5th idea of the same thing with just a different name that you're trying to do. Like, well, what's going on? Because I did it with my vegan brand. I've called myself, I was like, Justin, at some point you just need to do it. Like, the name will come, just do it. And I was like, okay, rude. But I did it, But anyway, pay attention to how often you ask a question. Okay? Because if every other Monday you ask him, so what do you think about this? What do you think about it? Okay? Don't ask me. Ask yourself, what do you think about this? Because at this point, you should know the answer to, you should know every addition of this answer. How do you feel about it? Tell me in 10 words or less how you feel about it. And the next time you catch yourself about to ask someone else for their opinion, pause and ask yourself what you think about it first. Write it down if you have to. Okay, take a picture, screenshot, and keep going. Now, I will say I always want to talk about grieving stuff. Okay, because we have to grieve the fact that we allowed ourselves to shrink for so long and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for shrinking. I am sorry for playing it small. I am sorry for not showing up when I was supposed to be big. I am sorry for not going full out when I thought marking it was enough. I'm sorry. But now I'm going to be full out. I'm going to show out. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do it big. Okay? I'm going to do it big with intention. I'm going to do it big with confidence. I'm going to do it big because I know it's mine. That's the mindset shift. We're reframing it. We are reframing it. Now, before we move on to section 3, I just want to reiterate how this has always shown up in your body so that you're aware of it when it happens again. Because listen, be honest. When you go into a new space or a new environment, it's bound to happen again. Tightness in your throat, the voice, that throat chakra right here. I have my chrysocolla. So if you see any stones that are either like a bluish green or a green, reddish blue, somewhere in there, like that's for the throat. Keep it near to your chest and your throat chakra. If you get like a low level anxiety of watching a room agree on something you probably disagree with and staying silent, that's another indication that you need to speak up and speak up loud. And then the relief, like the actual physical relief in your chest and shoulders the moment you finally say the truth out loud, and you've been carrying it and harboring it and letting it fester. Not even in a rage, like, I'm sick of this. No, it's more like I just, permission to speak freely. Great. I don't agree with that. And this is why. Again, not trying to cause discourse, but mainly adding to the conversation from a different lens so that we can see a bigger picture. Because right now we're looking at a dot, and I need you to see the portrait. Thank you. That's how I would say it. Will it sound sarcastic? Yes. Is it true? Yes. Sorry, that's just the delivery of it all. And then learning to notice these signals in real time is how you start rebuilding a working relationship with your own voice. And that's why a lot of people who are always hoarse, always have bronchitis, always coughing, or their voice goes out when they're mid conversation or something. It's nerves, but it's also your body trying to protect itself, uh, physically and psychologically speaking. And it's wild how the body works together. But anyway, we have to build the muscle. We talked about this, I think, in season 2, like nibbling, gorging. It's a muscle. You have to build the muscle. It's a muscle. Build the muscle. Sorry. Start small. You don't have to trust your own voice in the biggest decision of your life. Okay? But if you're buying a plane ticket, you better listen to their voice. You better find some other options. All right. But anything else, practice on the low stake ones. What to order, what route to take, what to wear, how to do your hair, the cologne, the coffee choice, somewhere to eat. Start small. Start small with that and speak up. If your food is nasty, say, hey, this tastes nasty. Don't say it like that. Just say, hey, should this taste like this? Like like something tastes off. Now, if it's lettuce, baby, I don't know where y'all listening to this at, but if it's lettuce, some garlic powder, ginger ale, or eggs, y'all better report that shit. Okay, y'all get the explosive diarrhea be around here running to the toilet. I'm just telling you, speak up. Every time you follow your own read on something small and it turns out fine, you're actually making a decision. You're collecting evidence slowly that your voice is actually trustworthy. And now we move to section 3 with applying. Here are 5 things to consider as you learn to trust your own voice. Number one, notice the pause before you agree. Okay? Take some time to sit with it. Take some time to think about what is actually being said. Consider the source. Okay? The next time you feel yourself about to say, sure, that works, or yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm cool. I can adjust myself. No, pause for 1 extra second and actually think. It's like, actually, let me get back to you. Let me think on it and I'll get back to you. Pause before you agree. Number 2, let your first instinct count for something. Before you research, trust that you actually know more than you think you do. Let that first instinct like, oh, okay, yeah, I actually thought about this before. I'm really considering, because I read this before, I've heard this before, I saw this before. Like, trust your instinct a little more before you start to go, oh, I'm not sure. I don't, trust yourself. Number 3, practice disagreeing in low stake situations. Just say, oh, I don't know about that. Have we considered this? I don't know about that. What about this? We don't need this. I do that. And it is very uncomfortable because then you become the target, but we don't shop at Target. However, being the target ain't always a bad thing because you can shake up the whole room by saying, no, actually, we don't need that because I'll do it. Number 4, let silence be a sign to check in with yourself, not a sign to fill the space. Okay? The next time a room goes quiet, notice whether you rush to fill it with agreement or use the quiet to actually ask yourself what to think. Okay, great. Number 5, stop needing to explain your knowing to make it valid. Stop needing to explain your knowing to make it valid. Not every instinct comes with a tidy explanation. You're allowed to trust something you can't justify yet. You just know. You just know that it's right. Or you know that it's wrong. I ain't gotta validate shit. Okay? I just know it don't feel right. And that's it. And then the last thing, name your gifting out loud, even if it's just to yourself. Say what you're actually good at plainly, without the disclaimer, without any certificates to back it up. The next time you walk into a room, remind yourself what you are actually bringing with you. Your skill, your journey, your lived experience, your perspective, and just let that be enough to speak up. That's it. That is it. So, thank you. Thank you all. Seriously, thank you for journeying with me this season on adjusting. We have covered so much. We have done a lot of work. And season 4, listen, I promise I ain't gonna do that. But I'm working my ass off to get guests. I have a plethora of people. It's just the technology. I just really need more equipment to really get the quality I want. Because right now with my equipment, it ain't gonna happen. But I made it 24 episodes this season. Next season, I promise you, is gonna be great. We will return hopefully in October. So thank you for adjusting. Remember, your voice was never the problem. It was your surrounding. It was your people, and you are confident. You are beautiful. You are loved. You are needed. You are appreciated. You are valued, and your voice is yours. And use it for good. Okay, use it for good. Don't be out there, trying to cause hell. But speak peace, speak life, speak abundance, speak the truth. Okay. Until next time, keep adjusting. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.